Toyota finally reported earnings this Wednesday. Profit at the world's biggest car company slumped 77% following Japan's earthquake. It came in at $314 million, missing estimates. And production disruptions could cause Toyota to fall behind GM and VW in global sales this year. Yeah, so my next guest has really the inside track on developments in these global auto markets. Paul Newton has specialized in the car industry for 30 years. He's Director of Industry and Market Intelligence at IHS Automotive. Joins me now. Good to see you, Paul. Thanks very much for speaking to us. So, I mean, disappointing results for Toyota. We're talking about a 77% plunge in profits. It seems as though the impact from the quake, it's going to be very difficult for the company to recover.
It certainly is, and it's going to be increasingly difficult this year. What you've seen in this fourth quarter result is actually the status quo for this year. We don't expect them to recover until 2012.
And I guess one of the big problems right now is that the earthquake has severely affected suppliers' facilities, disrupting the supply chain. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, basically, Toyota the most exposed domestically in Japan. They have the largest production footprint there, and they also have the largest sales footprint. You've got a combination of the complete collapse in sales and also the fact that a lot of their specialist production of things like the Prius is centralized in Japan, and those suppliers have basically been wiped out. So, you know, Toyota really are in a difficult spot.
So does this mean that automakers like Toyota need to consider perhaps investing more in capacity expansions abroad in international markets so they aren't relying so much on production within Japan?
Well, we expected that, you know, and we've expected that for some time. But, I mean, you have to remember, Toyota are absolutely, they have a huge global manufacturing footprint outside of Japan as well. So, you know, it is just their sheer scale means that they are impacted the most by this disaster.
What about how badly will vehicle sales in international markets be hit going forward?
Well, what we're expecting to see is vehicle sales won't actually drop terribly because we're expecting people to actually move from Japanese manufacturers to others. You know, people won't wait. We're not expecting that to be a permanent shift, but certainly a temporary shift, and will, you know, hurt a lot of the big Japanese manufacturers all over the world.
And even if the Japanese automakers can resume domestic operations, exports of vehicles, will they still take some time to recover?
Very much so, yes. I mean, you know, exports are being prioritised. So are high-end vehicles, high-value vehicles. They're targeting their recovery to try and maximise revenue and profit. But you know, ultimately, you know, you're looking at a situation where they are, you know, 500,000 units down on where they would normally be now, and we're just heading into the worst part or the worst impact period right now.
Okay, well, you know, great to get a little bit of insight as the obstacles, some of the challenges facing car makers in Japan on the back of the earthquake. Thanks so much, Paul Newton of Global Insight.